Alright, Brush Monkeys, welcome back. This week we are painting Nightslip from Reaper Miniatures. She's kind of a superheroine kind of character. Dressed kind of provocatively, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so we're going to paint her. I'm not sure what superhero she's supposed to be based on. This is one of those ones that looks like it's a familiar character, but I can't recall who it is off the top of my head. So we're going to paint her in fairly dark colors with pale skin and purple hair. And I think she's going to turn out really, really nice. Really looking forward to it. So those of you who are wondering why I'm using this other plastic dry palette, this little cheap one here, is because my usual ones that are in these spots are being recoated. You can kind of see them off in the corner there. I'm recoating them with glue, and it takes a while for the glue to dry, and I didn't want to wait for the glue to dry before I started painting another figure, so here we are. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start painting this gal, and then we'll come back and see how she looks. Alright, see you soon. Bye. Alright, we're back, and we've made some progress on our girl here. As you can see, we've got the skin done. Now it looks pretty pale right now. Well, it looks pretty reddish right now. It's not all that pale. It'll look quite a bit more pale next to the darkened cloak and darkened armor and clothing and all that kind of stuff. When we get all that done, right? Next to the gray zenithal, it doesn't look that dark at all. Or it looks quite a bit darker than it is. So, we also did her hair. As you can see, the purple in her hair there. And we also did these stockings that she's wearing. That was just Army Painter Dark Tone ink, which is kind of like Nuln Oil, thinned down with a couple of drops of Lamian Medium and glazed on there, so you can still see the skin tone through the stockings, but you can also tell that there's fabric there. So up next is the rest of her clothing and armor and whatnot, and so we're going to go ahead and get started on that. See you soon. Bye. Alright, I'm back, and I made quite a bit more progress on this than I actually meant to. I kind of forgot that I was shooting a video about this and not just painting for the fun of it, and so I ended up doing a lot more than I really meant to. I don't know if you could see that or not on her face, but I painted her lips with the brown rose, painted her bodice and garters there with the Incubi Darkness. I painted her holsters on the sides with matte black, and that's still kind of wet. I just got done doing that. And then I painted the inside of her cloak with the Pro Acryl dark gray blue, which I think is going to look really nice against all the rest of that. And with the Thanos black I've got planned for the outside of the cloak, it's going to be really dark black. Her boots there, her armor is going to be night scales, and there's a couple little plates on her corset there that are going to be night scales as well. But I think she's coming along really well. Really like how she's turning out so far. Her guns and the base will be the last thing I do, because those are both going to be Gravelord Gray with a Necron dry brush, and then I'm going to do a little OSL effect with that grate there. Going to paint some white in there, and then paint some fluorescent yellow, and maybe do some yellow OSL on her, so that under blacklight it'll all glow and look really spiff. So in the meantime, I'm going to go do her boots and armor and the night scales, and then we'll come back and see how she looks. All right, see you soon. Bye. All right, so I painted her armor. You can see I got the boots all painted up, and then night scales is kind of a metallic bluish black, and same with the armor plates on her bodice there. It's really nice. I also detailed in her belt with the matte black. Same as I did her scabbards there, so that's looking really nice. So now you can kind of start to see that the skin is much paler now. Now that it's up against some of the darker colors that she's going to be painted. So the only thing left to do is the outside of her cloak and her guns and base. So I'm going to do her cloak, and then we'll come back and take a look at her, and then we'll do the guns, and probably base the base at least. And come back and take a look at her. I'm not gonna do the usual, oh, you've seen me do the base. I'm gonna cut away, and next time you see her, she'll be completely done. I'm actually gonna detail out the base because there's a lot to do there. But yeah, we'll do the outside of her cloak, and then we'll come back and do her guns and base and all that kind of stuff. So, see you soon. Bye. Alright, so there she is with her cloak done. I did the outside of the cloak with Theranos Black, and shade washed the inside of the cloak with the Vallejo Game Wash blue wash. This is a really nice blue wash. It's kind of like the I bought it to replace the Citadel Drakenhof Nightshade, and that's a really good substitution for that. So that kind of toned down that blue a little bit and gave it a little shadow, which I really like. So up next we're going to do her guns and her base. Those are both going to be Gravelord Gray with Necron Dry Brush. So I'm going to go ahead and go do that, and then we'll come back and see how she looks. See you soon. Bye. Alright, Brush Monkeys, I'm back. As you can see, I got the base all dry brushed and coated with that Gravelord Gray. The guns didn't look how I wanted them to at first, so I instead of the Gravelord Gray, I used the Army Painter Grim Black, which is kind of like their equivalent of Black Templar, and then dry brush them silver. Now they look much more like how I expected them to look, so I'm pretty happy with. So next up, we've got to do the OSL on the grate there, and then the base band. So I'm going to go ahead and go do that OSL effect, and then we'll come back and see how that looks, and then we'll wrap it up. So she's almost done. She's looking pretty good. See you soon. Bye. Alright, so now we have the OSL done on her. You can see I've got the grate all painted up with the fluorescence and everything. It's kind of whiting out on the camera, but I've also got a little bit of the fluorescence showing up on her outfit, the undersides of her legs, the cloak, these undersides of her arms, just where it would show looking at her from that point of view. So yeah, let me see if I can turn off the lights and see sort of what it looks like under black light. Here, give me a second. Alright, this camera is much better in low light than I thought it would be. It's pretty dark, but yeah, it's much better in low light than I thought it was ever going to be. But yeah, with the black light, you can kind of see how the OSL effect works on her. You see the light coming from the grate. You see a little bit of it on her, and I need to touch up a few places on it because it doesn't look like it quite showed up. I don't want it strong enough that you can see the yellow on the figure. I kind of just want it to be a glow effect when looked at under black light, so that's what I'm aiming for. So let me go touch up a couple of places and I'll try it again. Hang on. Alright, take two. So now you can see a little bit more of that yellow. It looks a little splotchy, but on the figure you can't hardly tell it's there at all. So that's a little more like what I was going for. I was wanting that kind of underglow. So that's not bad. I'm gonna live with that. Not a whole lot of my figures show up under black light anyway, so it's not going to be a huge thing. I just kind of thought it'd be a neat effect to have. So anyway, all that's left now is to paint the base band on her, and so the next time you see this gal, she'll be completely done. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there is our finished Nightslip from Reaper Miniatures. I think she looks really fantastic. I like how she turned out. And there she is under the black light. Again, showing off that OSL effect. I still like how that turned out. So, I think she looks really fantastic. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye. Hey Brush Monkeys, Tom here. If you like what you see, click like down below, and if you want to be notified when new videos get posted, click subscribe. And in the meantime, if you want to support us in any way, check me out on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We're on all those platforms. If you see a miniature on the site that you want to make one of your own, hit me up on Instagram. I can quote you a price for that. And if you want any Flying Monkey Studios merchandise, like t-shirts, things like that, hit me up on storefrontier.com/flyingmonkeystudios and get all your merch there. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.